Hi everyone, it's Pam from Glam Junk Journals, and today we're continuing on with putting together my journal that was inspired by my scraps. So if you recall, in the last segment in my video series, we put together the journal cover. This is a soft-sided cover, and what I did to store it in between the videos overnight is I found a book that I had used the cover. I tore off the cover for another journal, and it just happened to be just about the size of this journal cover. So I set that down and then put another heavy book over the top just to keep the integrity and the shape of the soft-sided journal cover intact, and it worked really well. So here it is. And if you remember, on the last one we did attach the paper fabric and the lace and made the quilted cover with this gorgeous piece of fabric. And along with that, the previous videos were my extra long snippet roll. And then prior to that, we've got all these little gorgeous tags and tuck spots and little pocket snippet clusters. So we're going to be using all those. So I'm excited about that. So what I did was I gathered my papers that I'm going to put in the journal, and I'll show you how I like to put my signatures together. I haven't decided whether it's going to be a 2-signature or a 3-signature journal. The spine is 2 inches wide, so I'm just going to have to keep an eye on how thick my pages are getting, because I tend to add a lot. I like to add everything I can think of in all my journals, and they tend to get rather chunky with all my embellishments and stuff. But here's what I gathered. This is a pile of tea-stained writing pages, penmanship pages, and then this is some handmade paper. So basically, though, it's kind of color coded. So this is all the plain pages with nothing on them except for maybe some writing papers, if I could talk. Blech. This paper is really cool. I got this on Amazon, and I'll put a link at the bottom if I can find it. It's distressed papers, but if you look on one side, there is a pattern, and this has paisleys on one side, and this looks like more like a, I don't know, graph paper on the other side. This side is just distressed. It looks like an old piece of wood. And on the inside, it's very faint, but you can see some flowers. So these are fabulous, and they're already old and looking distressed. So I'm going to use some of those. And in this category, these are pieces of stationery that I got at a thrift store. And so that's another place to look at in the cards section. This came with some sheets of stationery and some envelopes, and they weren't a full set. Sometimes you can find full sets, but you know, for $1 you get a bunch of different papers and maybe some envelopes. So that's what that is, some stationery and a random treat bag, just an envelope, some music pages, excuse me, random book pages. And I've got some vellum here. This is from Tim Holtz. Isn't that gorgeous? And here is some tracing paper. So what I do when I put my signatures together is I grab some of each type. I like to vary the order that they go in. And this is a printed sheet of vellum. I printed a flower on it, which I think looks fabulous. And I did do a little bit of coloring because it was black and white. I don't know if you can see it. I still love to color. Do you guys love to color? I've always loved to color. So I might add a little bit more, but I did add some purples and some pinks and some greens. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So that's the basis for my signatures. And then once I organize those in the order I want, I intersperse heavier pieces of cardstock. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is a piece of cardstock from my scraps. It's heavier and it's printed on both sides. I think that that'll look really pretty with my journal. just because it'll bring out the pinks and then the greens. And I like the interest of interspersing a page like this against some of the blank writing pages. So I've got a couple more, and these are two-sided, and they don't have to be two-sided. This is just what was in my scraps. And of course, I love this. And if you recall, we did use this, let me see, in one of my snippets. There it is right there. So I like to continue on and use some of the same scraps throughout the journal with all the different elements that I make. So I might fold this up or make it a pocket or make it, I don't know, you know, a fold out. We'll see. So I'm going to use that. And then here are some more pages. So this is my inspiration for the whole thing. This was the, I think this was, I don't know what it was, wrapping paper or a, I don't know what it was, a paper placemat. That's what I think it was. And then if you recall, I did use that also on my snippet. So I've got that. This is a page from, isn't that pretty? Ha! This is from Stampington and Company. I get the magazine, I'll show you, or the periodical. Let me show you what that is. If you guys are not unfamiliar with this, it's the coolest thing ever, okay? Somerset Studio. Ha! The artists in here are amazing. They just give me so many ideas, so much inspiration, and they've started within the last year to include paper that you can tear out. So that's what this is from. And then I've got some random other sheets. This is scrapbook paper, a map, a coloring page, a pink beet dyed, no wait, this was not beet, this was I think this was watercolor. No, excuse me. There's too many dyes going on in my head. This was, what do you call that? Easter egg dye. So that's what that was. And of course, some Edith Holden. Love Edith Holden. I don't know. So I am going to put my signatures together, and I don't know, maybe I'll do one with you guys and then the other two off camera so you can just see how I go about putting a signature together. And then I'll do the others off camera, and then I'll show you what I do next. So let's start here. Grab some planes. Some planes, you like that? I'll get a little magazine paper here. Let's see what else. Some of that cool distressed paper. And this is just preliminary. I usually do end up fiddling around and changing the order, but what I like is to have different edges, meaning they're not all lined up on the outside of the book page, but there again, it's personal preference. I see journals that are totally lined up and totally even, and they look awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you know, it's just everybody's preference. So I'm going to fold that maybe a little off center, stick that in between some of the pages here. What else do I have? Let's use some music sheet. I'll just tear this up. And you can always come back and, you know, trim your sheets if you don't like the way they're sticking out, or if one's a little, you know, too long or too funky, too something. Now let's see this one. This is a right side up one where you have some people on here, or some little girls, I should say. Maybe folded like that. Yeah, that looks pretty. So put that, let's intersperse that in there. Oh, and I did want to mention, if you guys hear chainsaws and stuff like that, we're having our trees trimmed outside. We have a lot of evergreens and spruce trees and pine trees, and some of them got a little torn up over the winter. So we're having them trimmed up. Let's see, pretty magazine page. That looks good. Let's see, what else? I like to add color into each of my signatures, so let's see what I got here. There's some color. There's some color. Plain. A little bit of color. Plain. I think we need some more writing pages in here. So maybe in between the two color pages. And another thing that I do like to do, and I want to mention that, is the center of the signature. So this is where it's going to be sewn into your spine. I like to make sure this page, whatever it is one of the sturdier pages rather than, say, a piece of vellum, or I have some tracing paper I might use. And the reason for that is when you tie it or sew it in or however you want to attach it, if you pull tight and it's a flimsier type of paper, it rips. And believe me, I've ripped it. So that is no fun. So my suggestion is use a heavier piece of either cardstock or paper or something along those lines on your center. And Edith Holden just happens to be a thicker piece of paper. Yeah, we'll just use that for now, and we'll see. We'll see if that comes together. So I don't know, and I always have too many papers for my journal. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about 11 pages. All right, so let's do one more. Let's see, do I have any? This is just copy paper that has been tea stained, so I'm going to put that in there in between some of the other pages. And there's my first signature. Yay! See, it just happens to be just about the right size for inside my journal. Now, depending on the size of your journal, what I like to do is, and I'll show you this, is before I attach the signatures into my spine, I like to add things on the end, maybe some lace or some fold outs or something along those lines. I like it when things stick out the sides, but there again, personal preference. You can totally line it up and that would look great, just, you know, right along the edge like that. So what I'm going to do is stop the camera for just a moment, and I'll be back, and I'm going to put my signatures together, and then we'll go on from there. So hold on just a moment. Okay guys, I am back and I've put my signatures together. I decided on 3, and I'll show you what my plan is. So here's our cover, move that out of the way. I did go through some scraps again, and as you guys know, I love to incorporate fabric and all sorts of different elements in my journals. So what I did is on the outside, if I can get these all apart, of my 3 journals, I did add either a wide piece of lace, a vintage handkerchief, or a vintage crochet doily. And I'll show you how easy that is to put together. So here's one of my signatures right here. This is a doily that I found at a thrift shop. Spread it out here. And just along the center on each side, I sewed on a piece of satin ribbon. And this just so happens to be just about the right size to fold over the signature. So what I plan on doing is when I put this in my journal, I will have this tied, and so each of the signatures will be kind of like their own booklet within a booklet. And here is the other signature, and this is a, like I said, a vintage handkerchief that I did tea stain. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to add a closure to this one or not. If I do, it'll be along the same lines of just sewing on a piece of lace or ribbon for a tie closure. So there's that. And here is my 3rd one, and this is with some of the lace that I grabbed from the initial big bin when we were starting out. And this is some lace that I did dye. And I think with this I did use acrylic paint, and so watered down, and that works really well too. So that's another fun thing to do to dye your lace. And I haven't decided how long I'm going to make this, whether I'm going to tie it in a bow or just, you know, tie it like that and have the ends hanging. So I haven't figured that out yet. But what I like to do is clip my signatures together when I'm not working on them, because I don't know if you're like me, but if I start opening up a signature to work on the pages within it, they never end up the same. And you know, if I like them in a certain order, I want to keep them that way. So basically that's my story. So, and I'll show you how I put together one of the signatures. So we'll show you this one. I'll move this out of the way. Throwing stuff everywhere here. So we've got lined paper, a book page, some of the Tim Holtz vellum, another piece of writing page. There's some of that pages from the, what do you call that? Envelope and notepad set, plain paper, tracing paper, more music, Edith Holden, that cool vintage paper. This is some handmade paper, and in the center here is that heavier piece of double-sided cardstock. And I am lucky that, well, let me back up a minute. When I did make this journal cover, I eyeballed how big I wanted it. And just depending on the size of your journal, this is a little bit bigger than a normal book, which I think probably is a 6x9 or a 6x8.5. Let's see what this book is here. Let's see, so that is a little bigger than 9, and this is 6. So, and when I did that, I just kind of eyeballed how big I wanted my cover to be. So this ended up a little bit bigger than the standard book cover. So that's, you know, there is no right or wrong size for a journal. So this is about a little bit less than 10 by 6. And when you fold over a regular piece of paper here, this is landscape writing paper pad. It fits right in the center of the journal. Now granted, if I made this journal a little smaller, or the cover I should say, it would line up right against the edges, but I don't mind that, because what I like to do is when I put everything together and sew my spines in, I like, or I should say my signatures, not my spines, my signatures in, I like things sticking out of the top and the bottom. And what I mean by that is trim or fabric or tags sticking out of the top. So to me, I like the fact that the papers are a little bit smaller than the cover, because when you're all finished, they're going to have some edges. The papers are going to have some edges, they're going to have some tags sticking out, and it's going to look perfect with this size cover. So that being said, these little pieces that are sticking out, you can always cut those off, and I'm going to do that real quick with some of my fancy scissors here. And you don't have to do that. You could also, this is another thought, depending on how fancy you want to get, like this one's a little bit too wide, you could fold that over and just make a, you know, like a side tuck or a little pocket. So I think that's what I'll do with that. Get my wallpaper spreader thing here. Also use a bone folder or a ruler just to get a good crease there. And so that takes care of that. And now the only thing I have to make a little bit shorter is this piece of tracing paper. And I like the randomness of the cutting on this. I'm not doing it very straight. I like that, just to give it a little bit of interest to the pages. So move that out of the way. Let's see how that closes up. It's still a little long, but I think that'll be okay. I'm just wondering, you know what? When I tie on my crocheted doily cover, it might, compete with that, and it might tear, so maybe I will make a little bit shorter on this. And I'm going to put this right there so that I know where the tracing paper went. That's how easily I forget where things were lined up in the pages. Let's see how that goes. And then, okay, the music page, that's a little long. I'm going to tear that. And I like the uneven sides to that. I think it just adds interest, and I will distress the edges on this. Of course, you could always use scissors, or you could let it hang over. It's all personal preference again, right? So that's perfect. Yay! Move this out of the way. And what I like to do before I attach my signatures into my spine is I look at my signature and think, what do these papers need? And they don't need anything. You could just put it in and you're good to go, which is awesome. And a lot of journals look great like that. What I found works for me personally is I go through the pages and I look and go, that's kind of boring. That's just there. And look at this. This is nothing, right? Granted, it is a writing space, and I agree. I need to, I want to leave space for writing and journaling and that kind of stuff. But for me, I like to add things onto the pages. So that's where some fun starts. And I have found that adding stamping and stenciling is a lot easier to add to your papers before you put them in the signature, because you can't really get, you can't push your stamps down and get them even. And so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do some stamping and stenciling while I got you here. And of course I did pull some out that I thought might look good. So I've got my swirly stencils, my butterfly stencils, and this is kind of a stamp, and I don't know if you can see it, but it leaves a little imprint of a flower. So I like those. And then along the stencil lines, these are from Tim Holtz, Stampers Anonymous. This is flowers, and there's some more of that swirly flourish that I like. And I've got some vines here. What else do I have? Oh, let's just start with these. Okay, so I think, of course, something on this page. Why not? So I'm going to move the other ones out of the way and clip them so I keep them in order. And I'm not the greatest stenciler or stamper, but that's okay because, like we say, it's a junk journal, right? Right. So what would show up on this pink? I think, I don't know, I think some of those green vines, ivies would look good because we've got that on the cover, right? So let's just do it. Let's just do it. Distress ink in peeled paint. Look at that cute little guy. Get my little dauber here and see how things show up. And it might look gross, I don't know, over the pink. I just go along the edge there. And one thing I have learned is to kind of not line your stencil right up with the edge of your page, meaning like if I was to go like, if I had a straight line right here, maybe this isn't a good example, maybe this is. What I've done is I've used this stamp, and if I line it right up to the edge here and I just start stamping, I get a line. So I kind of overlay the edge and not go right to the edge of the stencil. And that way you don't get this, it looks like a stencil that has a border. But if you like that, that's okay. And that's just not the way I prefer it. So we're just going to go along there and see what happens. See, that looks really good. Yay, yay. Let's do the other side. See if I'm going right way up, right? Oops. And if you like a more precise stencil, you can always tape your stencil down to your page with some painter's tape rather than just, you know, freewheeling it like I'm doing. There again, it just depends on how precise you want your design to show up. But I like the randomness. I think that looks really pretty like that. Okay, now from here, let me get out my wipes because I try to keep my stencils clean. Just get out a hand wipe there. Now from here, I don't know. It might need a little more. Of course, you know me. More is more. So what could we put on top of that? How about a flourish? Okay. Let's do a different color too. What's the color of my journal? I'm kind of going along these same lines here. So I've got the green. I don't think a yellow will show up. Maybe a purple. That might work. So let's check it out. See what happens. It's kind of randomly lining this up again. Not even, I shouldn't even say lining it up. Randomly just placing it down on there and moving it around. Oh, that looks good, you guys. Ooh-wee. I got this particular ink pad at a thrift store, and granted, finding ink pads that aren't like all dried up and gross, look how pretty that looks. Yay, I think it needs a little more up here, is hard to, I think, find. I've not found inks that often at thrift stores, but I gotta tell you, man, this ink is permanent. And it's, you know, nothing against the Tim Holtz Distress inks, but the Stays On Royal Purple, and this is a permanent ink. So when it's on, it's on. And granted, you know, maybe I should be wearing gloves, but who cares? But it stays on. That's funny. And I swear I didn't mean anything by saying stays on, but that's the name of the ink. Oh my gosh. Okay, cracking myself up here. Oh boy, you're probably like, okay, Pam, you're a little off your rocker, but that's okay. This is what's fun. Okay. Ooh, that looks good. And if you don't like something, just put some more on there, right? Or you can just, I've done that many times too, where I don't like something and I'm just like, nah, get rid of it. All right. Now what I mean by the stays on here is you want to get this off of your pad as soon as you can. Now look, check it out. It stays on. Oh, sorry. Okay, get it together. Oh man, so it stays on. Now I think there is other things, like if you use nail polish remover, and I might do that later to get that off of there. Okay, so that page I think looks fab. What about the other side? Yeah, maybe. Let's do something on that side. I'll do some of the same. So, and this, I just find this is so fun to do, and it's just relaxing, and it just gives the pages some pop. To the other side, and there's still plenty of room to write, so it's not like the thing's taking up the whole page, right? That looks so good. Wow. Look at how pretty that is. You guys, this is so cool. And I know they sell this ink at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, so I have seen it there too. Okay. Now, I don't know whether I should do green on the other side. I don't know. Probably. Okay. What did I use? Oh yeah, just this guy again. Okay. It's going through here. You can always add more later, right? That's me. More is more. That looks really, really good, you guys. Oh, wow. And believe me, it's not as easy to do when your pages are already in your book. When they're already attached, the pages are not as easy to decorate. So that is kind of what I'm going to be going with my pages. So I'm going to put that back in my journal. This is the one that I have clipped here, the signature that I'm working on. And let's look at another page and see what we can add. There's another writing page, and I think what I'll do to that is probably put another stamp, but I'm not going to do that today. Let's do something where we're going to add a little bit of something different. And we'll use this one. Yay. Did I fold that even? No. Sometimes I like things folded even, and sometimes I don't. Like the last journal, I folded things, the pages, not perpendicular, but kind of off center and not right straight down the middle, and that looked great. But for this one, I think I'm going more for the straight look. So what I'll do again is I'm going to clip this open to where I know it's going to add, you know, where this page goes back into, because I forget. Now on this one, I think I might add some fabric. So let's look at the fabric or lace scraps from the bin. This is the bin, you guys. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. What's grabbing me with this? Pink. Okay, pink. Yay. All right, we'll do that. Just adds a little bit extra interest on there. So what I will do is I'm going to glue this down and I'm going to sew it off camera, but I'm just going to show you guys how I, you know, kind of get my the pages in my journal going here before I sew them into the spine. So I'm going to do that one. Let me get my scissors and I'll cut that. Oops, keep that upside down so that I don't have to mess with it. So I'm just tacking it down with some Fabri-Tac. And I'll do the other side too, because it's not going to be exactly next to each other. Don't want a big glue glob, so I'm going to use my finger and smoosh it out. Okay, and that's just going to, so that it holds until I go to my sewing machine and make sure it's firmly attached. Oh, this thing's freaking out over here. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm thinking on the other side, what does that need? To me, this looks unfinished. So what I'm going to do on that side is I'm going to add something different. Oh, yay, imagine that. Something different. Let's see what we got. This is where, let me find what I got going here. Where's my stuff? Getting out of control here again. Oh, here's my inspiration up here. This would be very pretty right there. Look at that. Look at some of the snippet roll. Oh, should we put that on there? Why not? Or you could make a belly band this way, but I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, let's just do it. Don't think too much. Oh no, I'm gonna cut it, but it's gonna be okay. I promise it'll be okay. Like I said, I thought the whole thing would, you know, like come apart. And I'm just trimming the edges off because they stick out a little bit. Let's stick that on there. And no big deal. If I run out of my snippet roll, always make some more, right? Right. So I'm going to tack that down so that when I sew it on my sewing machine, this whole thing is going to be firmly attached to the page. Get some little bit of glue going here just to hold it down until I go over to my sewing machine. Now see, that looks weird to me. So what do? Cut it. I don't know why, it just has a weird shape. Well, that looks weird too. I don't know. All right, I'm making this kind of weird, you guys. So there's the backing that's coming through, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, that looks better. Just position that on there. And I like the way the pink lace shows through onto the, you know, the back side of the paper. So I am going to sew that, but not right now. I put that back in the journal because I remembered where it goes, right here, see? And then this right here, I'll probably use as a tuck for a card or, you know, some other ephemera. So there's that. So done that, done that. Need something on this page too, in my opinion. Okay, but let's do this one right here. And this, like I said, is the center of my signature, and it is a sturdier piece of cardstock so that when you attach it to your spine and you have your string or your ribbon or your trim or embroidery or thread, whatever you use to attach it to your spine, it doesn't rip. The pages don't rip. So something a little bit different. I've got a little fold out there, right? Let's see what we got. Can always use some of my snippets that I made. Where are my snippets? Here's one. Oh, that looks really good. Just do a little fold out there. Now that, granted, these can be added after, you know, the signatures are sewn in. I'm just trying to get some ideas as to what I can put there. Let's see what else we got. Just looking through my papers here, guys. Let's find an envelope or something. And this is where the fun comes in, is you just kind of go with stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, look. These two little envelopes, aren't they cute? These were from the stationery set that I got. Let's see if it's in this journal. Not this one, or I should say this signature, but let me show you. From this pack of stationery, how cute would that be? Okay, great. Oh, look at the inside. How cool is that? Let's just attach it. Okay. And like I said before, this, believe it or not, has not been planned out. So what I'm doing is what I would do off camera is figuring out how to attach a little fold out envelope here. So you could have a pocket there, just glued it like that, or you can put it right there. I don't know. Let's see. Do I like that? So it would fold like that, so it still fit. I would have a pocket there, and then a fold out there. Nah, I don't like that either. You don't know. You know, all the creative people out there on YouTube, that build these, and I have done that before, but sometimes I have to think about it. Do you guys have to think about it? Okay, well, from here, all right, just go with it. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but my camera stopped. Okay, so as I was saying, let's just go with it. What I'm going to do is I am going to just kind of distress up these white dots to make them not as white. Let's see if this works on here. Yeah, it does. I'm just going to go over the envelope itself just to give it a little bit of more of a distressed look. I'm running out of distress ink too. I'm going to have to get some more of that. Have you guys noticed in the store, like Hobby Lobby and Michael's, I usually get my distress inks at Hobby Lobby. They don't have as many of them, at least the ones near me. I don't think they're being discontinued, or maybe it's because of COVID and shipping. I don't know, but they really haven't had a good supply of stuff. So maybe Amazon, you know, Amazon's the answer to everything. Amazon's taking over the world. But I love Amazon. I don't know. Okay, so there we go. Oops, got to do the inside. These little white stripes here. Okay, just to take down the whiteness a little bit. Okay, so that's cool. Now, did I decide where I'm going to put this? No, but we're going to go with it. We're just going to go right there. So it's going to be a little flip out like that. That looks fab. And I don't know if on this side I want to make that into a little pocket, you know, to stick something in there, a little piece of ephemera. Maybe I will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, excuse me, take my Scotch Create glue stick, and I'm just going to go along the edge here, like right there and right there, and glue my envelope down. Like that. And if there's any extra glue, you can just kind of wipe it off. So basically what I did is I just attached these two ends. And what I will do off camera is I will sew around here. And then when it folds open, we'll have, oops, excuse me, sorry, bonked the camera. Right here we're going to have a pocket. It's going to be a fold over, which you can stick something in there, and then along these sides here. And of course I have to add something to this side since I have something on that side, right? Of course, of course. Okay, so from here, let me see, what do we got in our stash? Pink lace. That's a little wide, but then I can always cut it. Hold on. Let's see what else we got. Let's bring it over. Oh, and look at this. I got this at Goodwill too. This is a fancy blouse that was from Forever 21, and I just love the lace. And oh, check this out. Oh my gosh. You gotta look at clothes. Look at those buttons. Oh yeah, those buttons are coming off of this shirt. Blouse, shirt, whatever. Okay, let's see what we have. There's some lace. That'll be pretty. Let's try that. Okay, it's a little wide. That's all right. I'm going to do some cutting here. And since this is the center of my signature, I'm going to kind of make them so that they match, or they go together. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the scrunch technique again. I'm going to make this a little longer and a little less wide. Man, they're still going nuts on those trees out there. I don't think we're going to have any trees left. Okay, so just add something along like that. Oh, I like that. That looks really pretty, just like that. Okay, let's get that going down here. And then what my eye leads me to is, oh, you're going to have to put something in the center right there. Maybe, but I don't know yet. So that's just how my mind works. So let me get my glue going here again. And this is, again, I'm just tacking this down a little bit. Don't want the big glue globs on there. So you can just kind of move that around just so that there's a little bit of glue just to tack it down. And scrunch that around until I get it the way I like it. See, and there again, I like the way it kind of sticks out right there, you know, along the border. All right, now, okay, I need another clip. I need a clip. I'll hold this together. Oh, and the one that is the closest is a sparkly paper clip. Perfect. I'll take this to my sewing machine. And then there's that side, and we're going to do something similar on this side a little bit. Little bit different. So I'm going to take some glue again. There's a big glue glob right there. Ugh. I guess I could move this out of the way from the rest of my pages, right? Hello, hello. But no problems, nothing happened. And then I'm going to go along the edge there. I'm going to make this side, or excuse me, this side a little bit different than this side. So I'm going to scrunch it up, but I'm going to put something over it. What am I going to put over it? I don't know. Get some more glue right down there. And when you scrunch it together, you don't see the glue underneath, which I like. Okay, let's see. What else? I don't know. Is that another place for the snippet roll? It's a good dang question. Okay, so I don't know yet. Let's see. Ooh, look how pretty that would be. But that's a little big, I think. So I don't know. Does that call for more snippet? Maybe, maybe, maybe not. So from here, I don't know what I'm going to put right there, you guys. Oh no, Pam is at a loss. I am not at a loss. Let's get our fabric out again. Okay, so here's a little piece of fabric. And then I'm just going to go to the bottom of the bin and get some baby offcuts. Baby offcuts. There's another term for you. Just going to mix these together and we're going to do a little cluster. We're going to put that right in the middle. Ticking? Love ticking. And see, the more I add, the more ideas I get. Are you guys that way? One thing leads to another, and you're like, oh, well then, you know, if that looks good, then this will look really good too. So I'm going to fray the edges on that. There's one of those little triangles. Make it less of a triangle. Maybe I'll use that. Okay. I like playing with different textures. So I like the lace. I've got glue all over my hands. I like this napkin. I like that fabric there. And then what do I want for the top? The ticking? Nope. No. And I'm going to scrunch it up so that you can see some of the, you know, each of the layers here. So we've got the lace, got that little napkin underneath that we used before, and the ticking. And then maybe, if I can do this here, let's see, put a teeny bit of this same lace. I've got to hold with one hand and cut with the other. It's not that easy, guys. Okay. And then put that together like that. So we've got a little fabric cluster. And put that over the top. Oh, yay! That's cute! Oh, I love that. Love, love, love it. Now from here, I'm going to see if I can kind of tack this together with some glue. Ooh, and it's getting really gloppy, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I don't get the globs. Put that together. And then what I'm going to do off camera at the end is I am going to sew this to this and around the edges, and I am going to continue on doing this same type of, let's call it pre-embellishing, before the pages are put into my signature, or excuse me, why do I keep saying that? The signatures are put into the spine. I'm going to do this with the remaining 3 signatures that I got going, and I will meet you back for my next video, and I'll show you what I did, and then we will go from there. And this journal is looking fabulous, you guys. Yay! I'm so excited. I am so excited. So thank you again, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for the nice comments and subscribing, and you guys are just wonderful, and I'm glad you're here to spend the day crafting with me. So until my next video, bye!